want Hwangsin to win this series now, with all due respect to Vibe, because I want to ask him in the interview what happened. And why is Vibe calling you your grandson?
And why is Hwangsin calling Vibe grandmom?
I feel like I woke up like a couple months late and something's happened.
Yeah.
Did something drastically change in the metagame, Ben, that I'm not aware of?
Somebody inceptioned the StarCraft universe. Well, okay, so game 1 was ridiculous. It was just, there's, I don't know what to say. It was right in line with the theme we had from Galaxy Puma yesterday. But I think, I hope, and I would presume that we'll see more of a return to standard play on Cloud Kingdom. Hwangsin was like, all right, Coach wasn't around last week. I came up with my own.
I can do whatever I want.
Came up with my own special build. He's really going to like this, and he tried it. It did not work. And now he's like, all right, well, let's just go back to what we used to practice. At least I hope that's what happens.
It's one of those things where, like, the coach of a high school basketball team goes on vacation, and the basketball team has to devise their own strategies, and they try to do the most inane thing ever. And, like, the only thing that they have to say, because Greetor probably is going to call Hwangsin and just like, well, Hwangsin, what were you thinking? And be like, I don't know, man, but it would have been awesome.
That's pretty much, that's like the summary of my life. Ben, what was that? I don't know, man, but it
would have been awesome.
It was so cool in my head.
I'm going to ask Hwangsin after this match, regardless of whether or not. We should just get him in an interview. I think Hwangsin, he can play standard, guys. He actually was for a long time known as a big 2-baser. People said Hwangsin never expanded, he would cheese. And then Hwangsin started learning how to play macro, but people never forgave him for that. You know, people are like, ah, yeah, he's still just this guy. He doesn't show cool games. And then he made this really long post on Team Liquid saying, hey, man, I'm trying to change. I hope you guys don't penalize me. Please don't call me a cheeser because it hurts me. And then ever since
if you can change, and I can change, I'm going to go home and watch Rocky 4 tonight in honor of Hwangsin. Is that the one with Drago? Rocky 4?
I only watched one Rocky movie.
Man,
and
Dan,
it was the original Rocky.
You have just robbed yourself of many of the best things in life.
Ben, what did I tell you? I told you I don't watch many movies. But this year's different. I've watched all of them. That's why I've only quoted the same movies.
No, you need to ask your sister about Rocky 4.
Yes, my sister is a little bit older than you, but did Rocky 4 came out in the 80s? 90s?
Probably. I don't know.
90s? Man, I would feel how many Rockies are there actually?
There's too many.
There's
too many Rockies.
Too many Rockies.
The last one was good though, man. Rocky Balboa was a good end to the season or to the series.
This season. Who knows, man? Sylvester Stallone will never die. I mean, at least his character of Rocky. He's still making movies. Taken 2, Expendables.
Heroes
1985.
Forever, Dan.
Along with Springsteen.
That's when I was born.
And Madonna.
That's when I was born.
And way before Nirvana. There was U2. Bon Jovi.
I have no
idea. And music was still on MTV. You don't even know what I'm quoting? It's a famous song about 1985.
Video killed the radio star, Dan.
Well, that is true. And Zerglings are about to kill the probe, or maybe the queen. Zergling or the queen. This is Cloud Kingdom, a map that is very, very choky. It's very difficult for both Zerg and Protoss to push into different areas depending on what the army composition is of your opponent. Let's see what Hwangsin chooses to do with his first 150
No, Hwangsin!
gas.
Not again!
Is he going to do the Void Ray supply block cancel into the
I don't know, man, but I'm not liking
I wonder if it was like he realized he got supply block for a long time. He's like, all right, whatever. I'm just going to wing it.
I think that's the only explanation that I can really come up with. What will we see here on Cloud Kingdom? Stargate going to be nice and hidden. It's going to be tough to scout that.
Yeah, and that's a really nice spot, Ben. And you can't do this in Heartless form. This is what we're talking about with Panda Tank. You can't get away with this.
Or you could just put a pylon on the high ground.
Yeah, but then you weaken your ability to wall. On
Look, Dan, you can take this pylon. You can take that pylon and you can put it on the high ground.
Yeah, but then you can't warp in next to your Nexus in case a Zergling run by comes.
You can take this pylon. And you can put it on the high ground. Single stock are going to harass the third base of Vibe. This is nice and annoying, but nothing going to be Nothing really going to come of it. Hwangsin knows that he's going to back off. It's another supply block at 52, but he's got a pylon finishing up. Going to be Phoenixes this time. As hard as that Stargate should have been to scout, Vibe still manages to float right past it, knows exactly what he's up against. And Vibe's thinking to himself right now, man, why didn't you go Mothership again?
It would have been a very easy win. Guys, a win for Vibe means he gets second place. And that means he actually has a very big case for the playoffs directly, because we take the top winners from each division, the first place, as well as the top 3 second place finishers. And Vibe would definitely be in that category if he finishes 6 and 2, but could finish 5 and 3 depending how things out. But now Tasia and MC held serve on their ends. Vibe is the last of the big 3 in Division 4, which is really cool because, you know, we all thought Vibe was good, but we didn't expect him to be this flourishing this well in North American Star League.
Yeah, he definitely has kind of risen to new heights as a Zerg player and as a representative Team Root. He's had some fantastic successes, man. He won $24,000 in WCS USA, and then turned around and won another big prize purse at the Continental Finals.
Yep, and that was kind of the joke, right? When Vibe was visiting us with the Root Battle Royale, we were introducing him to every single waitress and like every female cashier as the USA champion of StarCraft. And they were like, really? What is that? And we're like, oh, it's a video game. She's like, oh, okay. Have a nice day. And it was really sad. Forever alone.
Oh, poor Dan.
Zerglings moving over to the 3rd. They don't really have speed. They can't really pressure that much. Hwangsin's like, wow, these are very slow Zerglings. But a lot of Zerglings are pouring in. In fact, Vibe has way more than normal.
Yeah, he invested a lot in these initial lings, but he still has 70 drones out. So, I mean, it's not like his economy is really suffering at this point. Sentries and an Immortal are not ideally what you want against this number of Zerglings, but they'll get the job done, at least for the time being. Good building placement here from Hwangsin. Uh-oh.
A couple of sentries get picked off, which is not... Actually, no, not even really picked off. Very nicely done by Hwangsin. Vibe not really able to do anything, but he does understand what his opponent's doing. He's going for the Phoenix fast 3rd base into quick Colossus production, especially when you see the Zergling count that high and you see 1-1 on your opponent. Hwangsin doesn't really have any options for aggression, though, and that means Vibe can just expand.
Vibe drops the Nidus Network. Interesting choice. And if we look here at Hwangsin's vision, we'll see that there is not an opening anywhere on the map for this Nidus. I thought perhaps he could drop it on the corner.
Maybe, right here on the top of the ramp.
Yeah, I guess.
What if he did that and then just, like, walled off with the Nidus? That'd be pretty sick. Really impractical, but it'd be really sick. Vibe trying to poke in here. He doesn't really have much vision, like you said. How is he going to get these Zerglings in? Or are they even going to be used offensively? We've seen some players experiment with the idea of just using it as a rally point instead of in the base. He
tries the Nidus in the main base, but Hwangsin with the fastest reaction I think I've ever seen from a pro gamer. Has probes on it almost before the Nidus ever even tried to start. Ling's going to try a run by up at the top of the natural as well, but that's not going to happen. Good, just great building placement from Hwangsin. He has really sim-citied excellently.
Yeah, made his life way easier, and as a result, Vibe can't really poke in here and break with any kind of Zergling counterattacks. Even you know, trying to pin a couple of sentries and take them out is futile in this scenario. Meanwhile, Vibe getting his Infestation Pit and Spire tag, realizing he needs an answer to the Colossus. This Nidus Network hasn't really served his purpose, but that's okay. I would like to see him use it again in the future.
Now, Hwangsin is getting pretty big and pretty strong and pretty scary, Dan. He's at about 130 supply right now. He's adding more gateways. He's only on a single robo right now, but he's kind of at the point in the game where he's going to balloon up to 170 supply very, very quickly. And that's really the point where I think he's going to become a big threat to Vibe. Vibe's Hive is going to be done in relative short order. And he's dumping a lot of resources into Corruptors, which is going to be very important for dealing with these Colossi.
And Spine Crawlers, a lot of them starting at the 4th base, just trying to get gas for now. Vibe doing everything you should as a Zerg player. And it's all up to Hwangsin then to make a play, whether he's able to do something with his Warp Prism. He does have a 3-base push lined up for him around the hive timing, which is very standard nowadays in Protoss vs. Zerg. Rain from SK Telecom employs this pretty much as his main strategy, whether it's a 3-base push or kind of like a 3-base pressure while expanding to a 4th base and denying expansions. Hwangsin with a mass warp and also the top center of the map. But I feel like Vibe should be prepared for this.
Well, not a whole lot is here to greet these Zealots. Spine Crawlers at the 4th base, but nothing at the 3rd. Just a single Spore. War Prism's going to make its way into the main as well. Colossi and the brunt of the Hwangsin Death Ball will catch some Lings on the bottom half of the map. But where's the rest of your army, Vibe? His supply is surprisingly low. He's saving up so much money, I guess, for Corruptors.
Oh my, double warp in. Hwangsin also warping into the main while at the natural, although natural War Prism cannon gets sniped by the Spore Crawler placement. Vibe doing a pretty decent job, not losing too much. He has 100 drones, Ben. 100. Well, not anymore, but he did have 100 drones.
Oh, good position on these Zealots in the main base, but they do ultimately get cleaned up. Damage dealt there was not even that substantial. Vibe only killing about 5 drones. Or Vibe only losing about 5 drones. Hwangsin is pushing out into the middle of the map, wants to try and find an opening somewhere, but Vibe has dealt with the harass. He's shut down the Warp Prisms, he's cleaned up all the Zealots, and now he's able to really focus on just establishing his army. A bunch of Infestors about to pop. Neural Parasite's also going to be done.
Yeah, that's going to be very useful if he can take control of that, but that's the hardest part, like approaching the Colossus. So, well, Vibe does have the Spine Crawlers, the wall to be able to stall for time, fungling a couple of the Stalkers to make sure that the Stalkers can't go anywhere or blink forward. The Corruptors working onto the Colossus count very easily, but the Infestors really can't do anything. The Zerglings are all assailing the 3rd. Small little hole here. Hwangsin is going to lose some of his economy, but at the same time, a nice SimCity again saving Hwangsin from a lot more damage.
Damage taken a little bit on both sides. It looks like Vibe's probably, yes, he will lose that 4th base. Hwangsin, meanwhile, lost his own 4th base. He's also going to lose these cannons protecting his 3rd, but he has been able to warp in Zealots. This will at least buy him the time he needs. Uh-oh, there's a hole in that wall. The Lings will run up into the main base, so Zealots will have to chase for a little while longer. Mothership's about to pop out, Dan. That's going to put an end to this Ling harass, I think.
Yes, Motherships are awesome against Zerglings, because Zerglings won't be able to see anything. Hwangsin does see the burrow there, and that's going to just basically be annoying to him. He has to stay within his base while Vibe is able to establish his hive tech. Hwangsin, can he really push in here, though? He went for the hive timing. He went for when Vibe was weakest, but he wasn't able to really cripple his opponent. In fact, he traded off some of his own economy, too, because he did lose some of the probes, and killing off some of the drones is helping Vibe. He has way too many. He still has in the 90s.
Crazy game here as Vibe's doing a great job of running Hwangsin around the map with his Zerglings. And Hwangsin's doing a really nice job of just dealing with it, of continuing to maintain a very scary Protoss death ball. It's 180 supply against 180 supply. Pretty much even game. Broodlords are out. There's 9 of them on the map. So Vibe's first truly scary Zerg army has already entered the fray.
That's right, Ben. He did lose a lot of his Infestors. That's going to be very nice for Hwangsin. He has less to worry about. He doesn't have Templars either incorporated for feedback, so he's just going to go for another push with the Mothership. He does have energy for 1 Vortex, so we'll see how Vibe positions. Needs to split his units, but I don't know. I think Vibe has an incredible amount of Broodlords. It's going to be very tough for Hwangsin to push in here. Yeah,
a ton of Broodlords. There's no detection, though, and that's a little bit troubling.
Oh, I was wondering if I was able to get a Neural Parasite onto the Mothership, because a reverse Vortex would be just equally as devastating as an offensive one.
Both these guys more or less maxed out. Vibe trying to expand up in the top left. There's a single Stalker chipping away at that hatchery. It'll take a little while, but if Vibe doesn't get some units over there... Oh, it's not going to take that long, actually, Dan.
Reinforcements have arrived.
Yes, they have. Speaking of reinforcements, Vibe's going to once again go and attack this bottom expansion, but the tight wall, the cannons behind it mean that he has got to get the hell out of Dodge.
Yeah, Hwangsin also has to start thinking about a 4th base, just so he can remax a lot easier, considering his gas count isn't that high. Vibe also pretty high in the mineral count, but again, it's because he's got an incredible amount of workers, still at 84, a little bit more than normal, as you do want to start spine crawling up everywhere, expand everywhere. That way, Vibe, he can secure his spot. Zealots here getting harassed. I mean, he can't really do much here. Both players kind of just turtling and waiting for the other to make a wrong move.
17 Broodlords out on the map right now, or excuse me, 15 Broodlords out on the map right now for Vibe. He's got 4 Corruptors, and that's all. So not much in the way of anti-air, not much to deal with the Colossi directly. Zealot harass once more in the back of the natural. Going to try to chip away at this Greater Spire, but I feel like the Lings are there in plenty of time.
Yeah, I mean, you got Transfuse as well.
I feel like the Lings are there in plenty of time. There we go.
Whoa.
Okay.
Wait. Oh, okay, the Transfuse.
Last
yeah,
Transfuse does go off. That Greater Spire barely kept alive. You know, you can just put a couple of Spine Crawlers around that Greater Spire, and you can't really hit it. Man, that thing is bleeding.
In fact, there's really
profusely.
There should be nothing that BO should be able to fly over this if you just put a couple of spores as well.
Funny story, Dan. Our graphics person, Kylie, backstage, wants to be a Spire. She could be a Zerg building because it's tall.
She wants to know what it's like to be able to look down on someone. No offense, Kylie.
I feel like Kylie looks down on us every day.
I know. That's why she sits in the high chair. We see that Hwangsin is trying to move over here to the left side. He really wants to deny this base. Vibe, I feel like his doesn't really have that strong of a support for his Broodlords. He's only got 4 Infestors.
Only 4 Infestors, only a handful of Corruptors. Well, it's a large handful. 12 Corruptors out on the map right now. 15 Broods. Vibe is also not completely maxed. He could add a few units to this army, and he's going to do it in the form of Infestors. 3 just popped 5 more in production. So he'll have a grand total of 12 Infestors in just a matter of seconds. Really scary armies on both sides of the map, and we all know how delicate this dance is. The Protoss player wants to land the big Vortex. The Zerg player wants to avoid it.
Nice network was attempted into the main base. But
in that very spot that you predicted.
I was. I think that would have been really cool, but a little Vortex going off here, but doesn't really catch most of the Broodlords.
A couple of Infestors get sucked in, but Hwangsin's not even going to stick around to clean them up. Instead, he's just going to reposition.
It's okay. At least he's got one more Vortex. Now he's able to sit back and wait. This is really tough.
Dan.
Oh. Never mind. Zilla catches it. Nothing really can be done. 2 Zerglings. Wow, they jumped the gun a little bit too much. This is gonna be great. This is gonna be great.
They were ready, dude. When all else fails, Vibe says, let's just make more Broodlords. 2 more in production. He is completely maxed out. He's recycled a lot of his drones. He's down to just 60 harvesters. He's got a huge bank of minerals, not so much gas. So he's got to be very careful that if he trades, when he trades, to preserve as much of those expensive gas units as possible.
Zealot run by to the top left. Again, both players just prodding each other, never really willing to commit until they get the perfect engagement. Vibe has to be very cautious with this. Broodlords are out in a very dangerous spot. Usually you use the cliffs to protect. But in this case, he's trying to bait the mothership. He's getting the
Vortex goes down. Neural does not go off. A lot of Infestors do die, though.
Yeah, 3 of them got caught.
I don't think too much got stuck in that Vortex, though. And actually, we are going to see Vibe go ahead and force the engagement. Corruptors will make short work of the mothership. There was only a single Broodlord inside that Vortex. And I think Hwangsin's going to lose the vast majority of this army. He's lost the mothership. He's lost at least 2 Colossi.
He didn't catch anything in that Vortex, and the Corruptor count is so high. He's working on the Colossus very easily, and that's just going to make it very tough for Hwangsin to face against the massive amounts of Broodlords, because the Colossus does clear it up much quicker, so that way you can empower the Stalkers to blink underneath. Now Hwangsin has to defend his 4th base, but can you realistically pull this off, Ben?
I think he may end up having to sack this 4th base. The Stalker Ball is kind of making its way around as if it wants to try and force a race of some sort or a trade.
Zealot run by again from Hwangsin, really trying to work onto the economy of Vibe. Vibe still has an insane bank. So does Hwangsin.
Broodlords have found the army of Hwangsin. Infestors want to land a good fungal. They do catch that Colossus, so I think he's going to die.
Ooh, yeah, the Colossus can't move anywhere. In fact, one Archon pays the price because the Colossus is so fat. Wow, the Colossus survives.
Yeah, the Colossus does actually get away. Look at all these Stalkers. 46 Stalkers out on the map right now for Hwangsin is basically all he's able to reload with. If we look at the production tab, he is trying to get a new mothership out. He is continuing to upgrade. He's got +3 attack. He's got +2 armor. +3 is finishing up.
The mothership is going to pop at the bottom right base, and Hwangsin's going to lose that Nexus. That is really unfortunate, Ben.
Yes,
Mothership takes a long time.
Oh, but at the same time, the Stalker's returning. Is this going to work out, though? This is so many Stalkers. There are Infestors here supporting. Vibe is not using his Infestors at all. They're just sitting there passively. No fungal. Finally, a couple fungals go down. Finally, a couple Infested Terrans going to be cast. But this could be a critical mistake from Vibe. He's losing so much of this army, and he has so little gas to replace it with. He just didn't use his Infestors.
He wasn't paying attention at all. Vibe was dealing with all the harass. Zealots are still running to the third base. And Vibe does have a lot of minerals, but he doesn't really have gas. Just like you said, he can't replace that Broodlord army as easily. And Hwangsin's not pushing in. Hwangsin really doesn't have economy either. Both players on very low eco. Blinking forward, he gets caught by a couple of fungals. More strings are streaming in, but I don't think that's going to be enough considering the big Stalker Ball. Another big blink forward. Hwangsin trying to break through, holding on for the
Archon in the world, completely stuck in the back, and some massive fungals landing on these blink Stalkers. And as unfortunate as Vibe's engagement was in the bottom half of the map, Hwangsin has just given back any advantage that he had created for himself, losing the vast majority of his Stalkers.
Just needs to get one more shot onto the Colossus, but Vibe loses all of his Corruptors. Very, very interesting scenario. Neither player really has the ability to make a lot of units. Well, actually, just kidding. Vibe has an insane bank. All of a sudden, you just got an influx of minerals.
Yeah, Vibe does have... I don't know about this choice, Vibe. He's going to try to tech switch over into Muta. I know why players sometimes do this. It's very tempting when you have a big fight and you lose a lot of units to say, well, I've got enough resources for 20 Mutas. Why not just make them? I just don't feel like this is going to work out so well. Oh, maybe. There's essentially only one expansion for Hwangsin. It's the one that's building right now.
Yeah. And it's really tough for Hwangsin to kind of move between bases to defend, especially since the area of contention is at this fourth base, but so much tech lays in the main. Hwangsin does have a pretty decent gas bank, so he can keep warping in Templars for Archons. Does he have Storm?
Surely he does.
I'm looking at the Templar Archives. No, he does not.
Oh, wow.
So that's going to make it really tough.
Only using his Templar for Archons. Zergling run by in the bottom half of the map, going to kill another Nexus. That's a very sad occurrence for Hwangsin. That Nexus goes down so fast.
Wow. It's because Hwangsin didn't research building armor.
If only. If Protoss had building armor, Greetorp would not play Terran.
Yeah. Sorry, guys, but I found a better calling. Muta's now coming into the main base. Templars are warping in. Vibe really should capitalize on this moment. The Archons are forming right in front of his nose. But he doesn't know.
And Nidus also being unloaded. This is going to go down very quickly. Not even going to be allowed to complete with plenty of units in position to deal with it. These Mutas searching for openings, but I mean... Muta is just not a great fighting unit in general.
They're not very upgraded either compared to the Protoss army that has 3/3. So they do have +2 carapace, but it's like they can't kill things very quickly compared to their opponent.
Yeah, which is essentially means they're just kind of wasted resources. Vibe's already lost 1 Muta, and he's taken a good chunk of damage on at least 3 more.
To be fair, though, Vibe does have a very strong defensive point. Like, it's very hard for Protoss to push into here, especially with 12 full energy infestors. And now Vibe's starting to make Broodlords again. The Mutas could also make Vibe look more vulnerable than he is, because it's like, wow, it's a huge investment. Can he actually be able to hold off a huge counterattack? And that's going to provoke Hwangsin to push even before he's maxed.
At Hwangsin coming forward, he's got the mothership, he's got a healthy count of Archons. He has Templar, but as you pointed out, I still don't think there's any Storm. No, there's not. So he can only feedback with those Templar.
Well, he wants to get a fungal off, but he has to be very cautious with how he approaches the army. He does catch a couple of units with the fungal, not able to do much. Trying to go for the neural parasite. And he vortexes Hwangsin's army. Hwangsin, oh, that is a big mistake, letting his mothership get a little bit too close. Vibe able to recognize the opportunity. Mutas are flying in. And Ben, I think Hwangsin is going to lose way too much here after setting up perfectly. The Archons can't blink in anything.
Actually,
shouldn't he just be able to fungal
Protoss army popping out of that
But he can just fungal everything if he's able to get the fungals. But he's letting the army escape. He needs to make sure to catch them.
Well, there's just not very many units that deal damage in that Zerg army. Fungal's great, Infested Terrans are great, but those Infestors didn't have the most energy, and Hwangsin still with enough units to not just survive that engagement, but to kill everything else that was left over. There are no more Broodlords now for Vibe. He's got a single Muta left in the mix. Only 5 Infestors, 30 Lings, and a Muta on the map for Vibe.
I called that battle wrong then. Well, I'm saying the obvious. I thought that he was able to keep fungling them on the ramp, and then there's nothing that he should be able to do. Hwangsin just had way too many units.
I mean, in theory, I guess you're kind of right, but it takes infinity Fungals to kill an Archon. That's 350 shields that have to be chipped away at, 30 damage at a time. It would have taken literally 10 damage or 10 Fungals just to kill a couple of those Archons. So, and that's essentially all that was caught in the Vortex. Hwangsin is going to make his way right up into the main base of Vibe, where there is all the tech, all the Overlords as well.
No, Vibe's not going to go down without a fight. He's making a lot of spine crawlers at the top left base, where he's eventually going to migrate everything. Hwangsin still doesn't really have an economy, and Vibe does. He's remaking his infestation pit, and he's also starting to drone back up. I think Vibe's just going to go as long as he can, realizing Hwangsin doesn't have much going on for him either. It's not like he's getting a huge amount of income.
Vibe's lost so much valuable tech, though. I'm not really sure how he's supposed to bounce back from this spot. He's lost the Greater Spire. He's lost the Hive. He's lost the spawning pool. He's lost the infestation pit. He is rebuilding both of those tech structures. So the thing is, he's kind of choked up in this top left-hand corner of the map. At the same time, Lings are trying to be active on the bottom half of the map, but with only probes, Hwangsin's able to chase Vibe away.
Yeah, I mean, Hwangsin's probes are pretty strong. They got +3 armor. Soccer's blinking forward, realizing they can take out this base. Vibe, all that's left is this one final corner of the map. Hwangsin still losing a couple of these probes here to the Zerglings, and that's a really nice pick-off, considering Hwangsin doesn't have that many probes left, enough to saturate one base. Meanwhile, Hwangsin's pushing into the top left. He's pushing to a very dangerous spot.
Yep, spine crawlers and the fungal are very, very difficult to deal with. But these colossi, Neural. That's not gonna work.
No, just does not want to fight it anymore. It's not worth it.
Suicidal infestor.
Trying to burn some of his energy, but what can Vibe really do in this scenario? The Colossus is just working onto the spine crawler count. He doesn't have the. Oh wow! Oh wow! 22. Hey, these Colossus belong to me, but he's blinking forward to take it out. Wow, look at that.
Nice plays there by Vibe. By picking off the Colossi, he's essentially rendering himself attack-proof.
Well, that's very costly for Hwangsin, because that's 400 gas that he can't really replace that easily.
That's true. And gas is actually maybe the resource Hwangsin needs most right now. He's only got 2 geysers with any gas in them at all. He now basically can't attack. This is going to give Vibe a lot of time. Now Vibe still doesn't have a lair, so and he's gonna start it now, but he only has infestors. He only has spine crawlers. He's forced into this super defensive posture. I mean, this while Vibe is not, he's not really losing right now. He's definitely not.
He's not winning.
He's not getting any closer to winning either.
He's never say die right now, and this observer wandered a little bit too close. Hwangsin has to be very cautious with how he does this, though, because I feel like with so many infestors out, it's still really tough for Hwangsin to push in, and I feel like Hwangsin really can't. He really can't move around the map too much. I feel. Don't you feel the same? Do you think he can control the maps like this, the way he's doing?
Hwangsin?
Yeah.
I mean, there is certainly some risk. Infestors are a terrifying unit. I think the mistake Hwangsin's making right now is he's making Immortals and not Colossi.
I mean, there's a Roach Warren on the way from Vibe. He's going to try to pump out hard-hitting units. The upgrades are all in the Zerglings. But I mean, everything that Hwangsin's pushing out is awesome against Zerglings with the Archons and just the ability to really endure everything. Zerglings keep running in here, but look at how many kills some of these Archons have. 23 kills, 21 kills, 18 kills.
The Executor Archons. Vibe's taking this left expansion. Hwangsin's still unaware of it. If it comes up, if Vibe establishes some economy over here at the 9 o'clock position, we could maybe
Such a weird game, man.
Maybe start seeing the workings of a comeback. But I just really have a hard time believing Hwangsin will allow this base to ever produce anything. Hwangsin's also taking the bottom right-hand corner of the map. And, you know, guys, we still have to remember Hwangsin's ahead in every way. He's got more infrastructure. He has a better economy. He has tech. And Vibe's actually lacking a great deal in terms of his tech.
Yeah, and Hwangsin does have more mobility because he can warp in at different parts of the map. This base, just like you said, Ben, not going to be allowed to move or to basically produce any kind of resource return and investment. This is such a hard scenario because, just like you said, Ben, I feel like Vibe can't do much, but he's not dead. And he's just holding out for as long as he can, but Hwangsin, it's only a matter of time before he gets too strong because he's now on 2 base economy, and Vibe's on 1.
That is exactly right. Vibe's still stuck back here. He's got 2 hatcheries, so he can at least produce some extra larvae.
Yeah. He can pump out a lot of roaches.
But I mean, Hwangsin just, you know, he's not going to rush it. He's just going to be very patient. He's going to make a mothership. He's going to get everything that he needs, and he should be able to deliver a single killing blow. Vibe just does not have enough access to gas to get the kind of units out that he needs to win this game.
Only Hwangsin would be able to do something crazy like Stargate, hallucination, mothership off 2 base with a canceled supply block Void Ray into a 45-minute game where he's going Archon Immortal against Roach Infester.
Yeah, this has been a crazy game on Cloud Kingdom. Hwangsin right now is just going to start closing in on his opponent. His mothership's halfway done. He's building more Colossi. He's caught these roaches out on the map. Got to watch out for fungal, though.
Yeah, actually, these units might as well be as good as dead. The roaches are able to work on everything, and that's the kind of stuff Hwangsin really can't afford. Nice feedback to pick it off. Roaches, wow, really aggressive roaches movements, but this is, guys, remember, this is more than just a win in best of 3 and $150. It's Vibe wins this, he gets second.
Running right now when he should be fighting. Now he's going to turn around, and this will be probably the final, maybe not if Vibe runs away. Potentially the final engagement of the game. Big Fungal goes down. Roaches not particularly effective against Immortal Archon.
Well, with Roaches with just +0 upgrades, and well, +0 really isn't anything. These Archons do drop, and Vibe has closed the supply gap a little bit, but he doesn't really have that much energy left on his Infestors, doesn't have an answer directly to the Colossus. He needs his Roaches to be able to rush it.
Vibe trying to be as cost-effective as he can here, but there's a new mothership out on the map. Hey, maybe with a crazy neural parasite, we'll see. Vibe's probably going to try for that. Stalker's blinking up on top of the Infestors. Archons and Immortals doing some good work, and there's actually no detection here. Vibe has no choice but to GG. And 46 minutes and 47 seconds later,
Man.
Hwangsin evens up the series.
I'm trying to think like how to describe that game, Ben, but words can't. I'm out of words, man. I'm speechless.
That game was like Aliens. I don't know. I got nothing. Game's brought to you by Azo Monitors.
Just imagine Ben with poofy hair just goes, Hwangsin.
Brought to you by Azo Monitors, the world's leading production and gaming monitor brand. Check them out at azo.com/NA. We're going to take a short break. I'm going to drink some water, and then we'll be back with Game 3, Hwangsin versus Vibe.